Our coverage of the latest in the officer-involved shooting continues right now.
We have to listen to what people are saying.
It's another reminder that the fight for justice is not over.
What's happening in Cincinnati?
New developments in two high-profile, racially charged police shootings.
In winning the victory, we will not only win our freedom, we will so appeal to your heart and your conscience that we will win you in the process.
Black students are at predominantly white institutions. It's like you die by 100 paper cuts, millions of paper cuts. So daily you're impacted by, again, racism, discrimination, microaggressions, where you have to constantly refuel yourself. And it impacts and affects the way you think, the way you focus, the way you concentrate, who you are socially, your mental, emotional state. And so, you know, not only do you have to perform at a high level academically, but you also have to constantly, you know, regain your sense of self and identity and just emotionally fuel yourself based on, you know, people discriminated against you based on how you look or how you talk or where you come from or your culture or your ethnicity. Whereas one person may solely have to focus on academics, people of color have to focus on academics. Also, do they fit in socially, who they are culturally, and so it takes a huge impact.
Being a student of color, oftentimes you're the only one in the room. Most of our students of color come from urban environments, and the vast majority of our students come from rural areas, in Ohio, for example, or in places where they just haven't had a lot of interaction with students who are different. And so that in and of itself presents unique challenges for students.
I need to make certain moves to make sure that I can go home and see my family over summer break. So it's different in the sense that I can't do the regular things that maybe a white person may do. I have to move differently. I have to plan out the moves that I'm gonna make. I can't just do what I want necessarily. That's what it's like to be black on campus here.
Today I was in class, and you know, it's a majority white class, and there's only 2 black students in the class, and they're talking about things that in regards to race and slavery and stuff like that, and a lot of the students are dismissive towards those things, and it makes me feel uncomfortable because I have to be defensive about my color, and I live what they're watching and what they're learning, and then I have to educate my peers who just don't try to seek to understand how I feel and what I go through on a day-to-day basis.
I would say that being a black student at the university is definitely different than being a white student at the university. There's not a lot of staff and faculty that look like you, that might understand your struggle, or that you might even perceive as understanding your struggle.
The University of Cincinnati is very unique because it's one of the only really predominantly white institutions that had the event or the incident where, you know, an unarmed black man was killed by you know, a white officer, a University of Cincinnati officer, and, you know, the trauma that a lot of the students have experienced related to that.
A grand jury indicted Tenzing on murder and voluntary manslaughter charges for the shooting on July 19th.
Tenzing has been fired from the UC police force.
I believe WeGotUs is going to be a national initiative, especially to predominantly white institutions. You know, I believe we're going to serve as a model, and UC is going to be that catalyst for change, showing other, you know, institutions how do we form and develop communities of healing institutionally.
I'm glad that the university is taking the necessary steps to support students of color, and it just continues to expand as we continue to demand for change.
I'm so grateful to have a space like the Cultural Center here at UC. The center pretty much saved my life. There's many universities or institutions that don't have black cultural centers, and I really feel sorry.
For newer students and students that are considering attending the University of Cincinnati, we want them to know that they can find a place here. They can find community here. They can find peers, faculty, staff that are going to ensure that they have all the tools and supports they need to achieve their goals.
I believe that hashtag WeGotUs provides a voice. It provides an opportunity for us people of color to really express how we feel, what we're going through, what we need to really be successful. And I think it's vital to be real diverse and to be more inclusive of every single body, and not only on a student level but on a mental health level as well.
Well, I think because even though universities are different, a lot of our students are the same, they're very similar, and so universities are going to deal with this whether they like it or not. And so why not take on a program like WeGotUs, right, to help combat these issues, help students feel supported.
I'm very excited, and I think that that's going to have a big impact on the students, especially given the racial climate here in the United States.
The hashtag WeGotUs really means to me that we're a community and that we need to have each other's backs at all times, and that we don't all go through the same thing, we don't all have the same story, but we have all been through a lot, so we need to band together and really help lift each other up and try our hardest not to tear each other down.
You know, WeGotUs is, again, we got us. You know, how are we training students to identify, you know, some of these issues within their own peers and say, okay, this is what you're dealing with, this is what you're struggling with, we're here for you. You know, where nobody's being dismissed. We're cutting out all the pettiness. You know, we don't have time for that. We deal with too much stuff outside, so when we come into our group and experience our movement, we want it to be all about acceptance and love and understanding.
This time, unlike in 2001, an incident where a black man was killed by a Cincinnati police officer, there were days of unrest here. But we have come a long way since that time.
When we were doing the IRA 8, I've said it time and time again, it was the worst time of my life. We didn't know it was going to take over our lives, per se, when we first started. But, you know, we wanted the president to acknowledge that Black Lives Matter. We were going to have a forum because that's what we had done in the past. But due to like the backlash and things that we got, we decided, you know, to react every time, you know, when people question did we like the university.
If you're another, you know, administrator, faculty member, staff, or dean at another predominantly white institution, I would reach out to us and say, hey, how did you model this? What are you doing? What does the data look like? How has it impacted your students? And how do you want to further, you know, how can we further address these issues?
When I come in every day, if I have provided a platform for this particular segment of students, then I'm doing the job that I'm supposed to be doing.
So for a lot of other institutions, it's important to have the WeGotUs initiative in mind, because the potential of the WeGotUs movement is far beyond anything that I think we can determine right now.
It's key that I can now refer students to someone who looks like them, but can also help them with their mental health.
It's important to have these type of programs in your institution because sometimes you as the dean or you as the president may not think about the emotional safety of those students.
This new platform is called WeGotUs, and what I want to say is that when you come to UC, we've got you. Like this on social media, go to Twitter, Facebook, do you, but make sure you tap in so that we can spread the word. We've got you at UC.
We got us. Okay. Hey. We got us. We got us.
Make sure you guys follow WeGotUs with the 0 instead of a O. Yeah!